Put the word out there. We are back up. Now I got to hit the intro. I missed. There it is.
You are Locked On Badgers, your daily podcast on the Wisconsin Badgers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on, Badger fans? Welcome to Locked On Badgers, your team every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Herrings. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Appreciate all the support there. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. We are reacting, obviously. I don't need to tell you what we're talking about on this show. What went right? What also went right? What went really right? We are talking Wisconsin, Illinois. We are going to start here. And then we got a special guest joining us. This is his first live football reaction. No, you were in person. We were at one. This is your second one. But we got Curtis Holland on the show as well. But first.
This is awesome. It's a good day for me. Come on in here, buddy. Get up on that line.
All right, big picture.
This is awesome.
Oh, I looped it. Big picture. Curtis.
Ryan, don't know how to act. You win a game, we don't even know how to act.
Inner boom goes the dynamite guy every once in a while.
Dude, I am so stoked right now. I'll just start with big picture. I'm just so stoked. I'm so stoked, guys. I wish we had more games in the season with the way this team is playing. It took us a while to get here, but this team is playing so hard. Carter Smith, big picture, no back-breaking plays that really hurt this team. You know, not a great prolific passing game, but toughness.
He threw a dime on that pass.
Yeah, valuable stuff. Again, big picture, man. It's just I'm excited. I'm happy with where this team is at. I'm incredibly happy for guys like Darian Dupree, Daryl Peterson, Luke Fickell. Guys, I'm just stoked. Curtis,
especially Daryl Peterson. I mean, yeah, it's first of all, shout out to everybody who wanted Brett Bielema back as our head coach. Expert clock management in the second half. Again, I'm glad he's learned how to manage a game since 20 years ago. But but for real, I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier this week, Ryan, and we said, what if this team is really just the fact that we've been down to our 4th-string quarterback and our 4th-string running back, and 3 linemen are out, and our Tucker Ashcraft's been out all season, and we've had a number of injuries on the back end. We're missing our top safety. Like, what if it's just that matched up against the #1 team in the country, the #2 team in the country, the #3 quarterback, the top 3 quarterbacks, the top probably 4 receivers? We've played the best teams in the country objectively. So it's just one of those things where it's like, what did we expect would happen when our whole team is injured going against this time, not preseason ranked #1s. We're talking legitimately 1, 2 top draft picks on all sides of the ball. I mean, and now you see us against an actual Big Ten West team. And what do? Broken down, we beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
A team that people thought was going to be, maybe they're a dark horse this year. And we beat the brakes off them. And at their strength, at full strength, we beat the brakes off them. And we kind of broke them. Like you saw at the end of the game, we broke that team. Right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying when it's like, I think I see why the university made the call it did when it comes back to saying, maybe we should run this back one more year and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, first off, I just want to go ahead and say, Daryl Peterson, you've made me a believer. You've earned this. You have been absolutely incredible this last half of the season. We were super hard on him, Ryan, you and I, because he really wasn't effective last year. He's been great. He's been the linchpin of the pass rush. Him and Reiger coming off those edges, and even Cheeks. Like, there's so many guys that are causing problems right now, and that's such a big part of it. Luke Altmaier, who's going to be a draft pick, was made to look very pedestrian. And we talked about this a little bit about what the route was to kind of making him look ordinary, and it was run a lot of zone and make him throw underneath. And that's basically what we did. And he was super uncomfortable from about midway through the 3rd quarter on, where you could see that he was rattled and starting to kind of get jittery in the pocket and starting to get rid of the ball quicker than he wanted to.
I mean, just even from the 1st quarter, you saw him sort of.
He didn't like that first sack.
No, that first sack, yeah, it did. You could see it in his eyes.
Dude, and talk about that pass rush really quick. You mentioned Daryl Peterson, 3 sacks, also 2 pass deflections, also several pressures. So Peterson had the sacks, but he was also all over the field. Then you had Reiger with a big hit. Suggs had some really nice pressure. Ben Barton, by the way, just manhandles the offensive guards at this point in his career. He's a stud. Yeah, incredible job at that pass rush. Guys, let's give out a couple helmet stickers. So we've been previously going like player of the game, but I just want to give out a couple helmet stickers. We talked Peterson. I'm going to give one to Darion Dupree. Man, it feels I'm happy for him, first of all, because he's struggled a little bit. He's also been banged up a little bit. Hit that 84-yard run, but also had some other moments where he ran. I thought he ran really hard at times, really physical. Helmet sticker for me, Darion Dupree. Curtis, give me a helmet sticker for somebody.
Oh, man. There's a lot of people. I guess for me, I want to go. See, what I wanted to do was take the front seven. That's not really fair. I'm gonna go Ben Barton, like you said. I mean, he absolutely owned the line of scrimmage, right? I mean, he controlled the game flow. Did not let that center get any type of comfortable. I think the center actually went down at one point in the game. Just destroyed Illinois' ability to run any type of offense.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mason Reiger. We talked about Peterson already. Reiger, he probably should have had 3 sacks in this game too. He absolutely forced Altmaier to step in the pocket, step up multiple times. It absolutely abused that right tackle and just destroyed Altmaier on that 1 sack. So he is just consistently in the backfield every time. And some of what Peterson did was a result of Reiger forcing him up into the pocket, which made him kind of get lit up. And then it was really nice to see Allegro get a sack and be able to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, let me start with you.
He was a starter before the season started when he came in, and all of a sudden he gets a sack right away.
I think all 3 of those guys are going to play next year. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. Justin, let me start with you on this one. We'll loop back around. I asked you after the Washington game, has the needle moved for you on Luke Fickell? I'm going to ask you. You said no at that time. I'm going to ask you again. Has the needle moved for you on Luke Fickell?
There are things that need to happen on the offensive side of this, but if they can continue this into next year, then yes, the needle has moved. We're seeing we're seeing a unit that is consistently showing it. And honestly, Carter needs a lot of reps, but I don't mind the idea of him potentially being allowed to challenge for the starting position next year if you give him the actual reps to grow. Because I do think the attitude and the type of leadership that he has is exactly what this team needs in terms of a quarterback. They need somebody who can go out there and kind of have that chip on their shoulder, that attitude, and isn't afraid to mess it up. He is not a soft player in the least. He's kind of, you have a guy like Posa on Posa and Reiger on the defensive side. Carter's kind of your dude on the offensive side. That's just like, go ahead and hit me. I don't care. He'll keep coming back for more.
He was running up in there, getting hit a bunch of times. I was like, dude, hey man, look, we've already lost 3 quarterbacks. Let's not push it too hard.
Mentally to Grimes, like, okay, no more quarterback power. But dude, he's tough as hell. Curtis, same thing with you. I know where you're kind of at anyway, but what does this do for the team, for the fan base, for optimism heading in? Obviously, you still have one more game. Let's get the freaking axe. But this could set you up in the offseason for some stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at
we're losing Curtis. Curtis, we're going to come back to you. We're losing you. You paused out. I'm going to take you off really quick. We're going to come back to Curtis when he's back up. Justin, I also want to hit on Carter Smith a little bit, like what we thought of this game for Carter Smith. Let's bring Curtis back in. Curtis, we lost you for a second if you want to finish.
Yeah, you're good because everything was fine on my end, so I'm not sure what that was about. But you guys hear me good?
Yep, you're good.
All right. What I was going to say was, with Fickell, I mean, it's kind of 2 things, right? You can look at a coach and say the team loves him, right? The team loved Paul Chryst, right? The team loves Coach Fickell. You can see that. You can see it on the players on the field. You can see it in the locker room. Like, they love this guy. But can he actually put the team in a position to be successful is always the question. And there are still various things that we need to work on going into next year. We got to figure out, I think there is an element of strength conditioning that we got to work on, especially when you see 20-something injuries on the squad. Like, that's a systemic issue. That's not just one random occurrence. So there are things we got to address for sure. But if we do address that and we continue to see the effort that this team played with, going into next year and beyond, then absolutely, I think he can be the guy.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty simple, man. Play good, I happy. Play bad, I'm mad. Like it's not much harder than that. Like we talked about it early on. Winning solves things, and that's 2 ranked wins in the last 3 games against pretty solid quarterbacks. Listen, Curtis, you've talked about this. You rattled off the top 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks we played, but Justin, you hit it too. Altmaier's a borderline NFL guy. Damon Williams is a borderline NFL guy. Dante Moore's
I don't think he's a borderline. I think Altmaier is going to be a top 4 rounds. Like I think it'll probably be the 4th round, but I think he's got enough tools and enough athleticism that he's going to be a guy that's going to get an opportunity.
Yeah, I like this comment from Wholesome Shot down here. We got to take a quick second, friends of the show. We're going to come back. Turning point of the game. Thoughts on Carter Smith. What else we want to hit on? Maybe a few things that didn't go great that we still got to work on. But that's coming up next on Locked On Badgers. What was the turning point of this game? But first, a quick second for our friends of the show. A quick second, as always, to say thank you for tuning in to Locked On Badgers. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is incredible. And if you had Gametime, you could have had tickets to this game today. You could have rushed the field. You could have been in the stands, in the environment, tailgating beforehand, on the in camp right into watching Darian Dupree break an 84-yarder. Like what a stud moment in that critical part of the game. You could have been there with Gametime. Gametime, you get pictures of the seats before you sit down, flash deals. It gets emailed to your phone. The best ticketing platform I've ever used in my life, and they have a great offer for you. Download the app, take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets, download Gametime, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. That's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. It's Gametime today. Appreciate everybody tuning in as always. Thank you for making Locked On Badgers your first listen every day. And thank you for making Locked On the podcast network, the #1 sports podcast network. Guys, let's talk the turning point of the game. For me, it was that Dupree 84-yarder. You strike quick, put points up. You put them in a bind. You put them behind the 8 ball. They never come back into it. I think it was the Darian Dupree play for me, turning point. Anything else that stuck out to you as a big momentum shift here?
Yeah, I think that has to be the one because when I look at it, it felt like Illinois was getting their legs under them when they got down on that field goal and that they were going to start to rattle off some drives. I felt like the momentum absolutely just got shoved back in their face when Dupree busted that one. And that was huge for this team.
Absolutely. And I think, I'll be honest, I was shocked when he broke that, and I think he was shocked too, the way he was running the ball. I think everybody was a little bit shocked. But I think you finally saw there's all the touchdown runs from fall camp that we were talking about. So, finally shows up, week 11 of the season.
You know who else was shocked? The Illinois defensive back that was busy covering Hilton.
On the phantom pass. That was a hell of a play by Hilton,
dude.
That's my dad is a former Pro Bowl wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, that's one of those little teeth things. You don't learn that from a training camp. You learn that from.
You think that was something that he goofed around with his dad that his dad's gonna be like, really?
His dad's gonna love it. By the way, that's gonna be a meme. That little thing of him looking up what the DB is running is going to be a meme replayed on social media for that cornerback's entire life. I feel bad for him in a way because that is going to be meme the hell out of it. I was loving that. I'll give you the other one really quick. It was the Illinois foible on the punt. The kind of the low snap, the drop that sets up another Badger. That kind of put it out of range. And internally in my head, I'm like, finally, like another team F's up a punt. That's been a Badgers fan life forever. Let's talk Carter Smith quick. We'll start with you, Justin. Thoughts on Carter Smith? We hit it a little bit. What did you see that you liked? What did you see that you didn't like?
Well, I mean, I feel awful for Ballard. Easy touchdown. He throws the ball to the corner. Twice. Carter's easily got him for a touchdown. Yeah, or the flea flicker play. I don't really hold the flea flicker against him because there's no way he would have been able to get the momentum on that throw.
No.
With how sloppy that play was. I was honestly shocked that he was able to get it to Mason as well as he did, given how broken that play was when he got the ball back. But yeah, Ballard, if he throws it, he could have just thrown it to the corner and just kind of lobbed it out there and it's a touchdown.
Can't see him. Yeah.
He's John Cena out there.
Yeah, for real. Carter locks onto his first target. I mean, here's the thing for me. Carter's a freshman, and he does freshman things. He holds onto the ball when he should get rid of it. He locks onto his first target. He overthinks when he wants to throw the ball, all those things. But I think the one thing I see with Carter is he's a winner. I mean, this guy's won 2 ranked games. he's played. So think about it. The last 3 weeks, we played number 23 team, the number 2 team, and then the number 21 team. He's 2-1 in that span. That dude has no fear, right? He goes in and he's like, I'm just going to do what I can and try to win, and I'm not going to quit. And that's, I think, to your point you said earlier, Justin, that's the kind of guy that Fickle wants playing quarterback. I mean, that's Desmond Ridder. That's what he was, right? And so, that's the thing I find so funny. My dad, he played football in Wisconsin. One of the things he used to say is sometimes there's these quarterbacks that like can't make the play, but they don't know any better. So they just try to make the play anyway. And sometimes it works out, but that's also a sword you can live and die by. So he definitely needs to improve over the next,
I will say this
go forward.
And we've talked about it. I kind of brought it up before we came live. It is one of those things with him where it's like, he's a baby deer, but the staff, he's a baby deer because of the staff. Like he was not brought along because he was running scout team. So this is basically his first 2 weeks and first real time receiving coaching with like his reads and stuff that he's gotten this year. And he's only had 2 weeks of it. And it's fine doing that in practice. I'm sure he's getting better in practice. When the bullets start flying in a game, it's really hard not to get tunnel vision and start to just kind of, and you can see it a little bit when the pocket starts collapsing around him. He kind of gets small and you look like you're just waiting for the defensive line to wash over him. And a couple of times he broke out of it and made things happen, but you can see with him that he's very early in the growth process. What I was going to bring up to you guys is if we go 5-7, we have to take the bowl game, right? Because like, you get to get 2 weeks.
This is different than last year. You need the practice.
You get to get 2 weeks of Carter practicing and see what he can do in a bowl game to see what you can leap into next year with. And I think for him, that would be massive to have that time and be able to hopefully show you something. So you feel like, okay, this is something we can run with. He's making strides. We can see it where you get some real time to rep him and develop him in the postseason.
So I'm team. You always take a bowl game. I don't care what you do because
I agree too. Just for the practice,
100%. Even in a season
last year, I know last year we turned it down because it was just too short of a turnaround.
That was a weird turnaround, though. Where I'm always of the opinion that if you have an opportunity to get to a bowl game and get your younger guys reps, and honestly, if people don't want to play out of it, or if you have certain players that balk at wanting to play another game, then those probably aren't guys you want in your program anyway. You want dudes who want to play ball. So on Carter Smith, I'll give you a couple things really quick. You guys hit most of them. Total winner, like you said, Curtis. Justin, I agree with you as well. He'd be further along if the staff had put more into him. Although it is kind of tough when you're trying to get Millie, Danny O'Neill ready and all these other things. It's not perfect, but a couple things. The toughness and the moxie, incredible. This is another game, much like Washington, where he took care of the ball. How many delay game penalties did Wisconsin have? How many botched snaps? Like that's really big stuff for a freshman to win against a ranked team. He can't have those type of mistakes, and he didn't. Also, throw the ball away. If you're rolling to the sideline,
no kidding,
nobody's open. This is
he's still in high school speed mode. You can see it. He's like, "Oh, I got this," and then no, I don't, because it's a college DN. So,
I'm not trying to be too hard on him because he's a freshman, but that is. If I see him take another 4-yard loss because he doesn't throw the ball away, I love the kid. Yeah. I love the kid. But that's a learning experience right there. Curtis, we'll start with you on this one. What's one spot that you wanted to see a little more from? Like, this is awesome. The Badgers just trucked Illinois. But what's a spot, a player, a coaching element that left you a little wanting today's game?
Yeah, I mean, our O-line has gotten so much better. I mean, from where our O-line was start the season, it's significantly better. But we still need to get better push. We broke a play. That was great. When we can get numbers to a side or get off direction, we can get the linemen out front to make some good run plays. But I still think I want to see some just straight downhill, old school Wisconsin being able to put hat on hats and actually, go for 6 yards of carry. Right. And I think that's still where we're struggling a little bit. There's some personnel issues with that. There's maybe some strength and conditioning things. We're down kind of at the end of the year here. Our guys are beat up, so I get it. But that's still something that I want to see more of because, an older Wisconsin team, when you're playing a team like that, you start to dominate. I mean, we'd start rattling off 10 yards to play, just 10 yards. All of a sudden, play action, everybody's wide open because they're selling out stop the run. Like, we didn't see that. That said, we were still able to navigate a win, and not only navigate a win, we did it pretty convincingly. So that still demonstrates that this team has come a long way from where we were when we watched the Maryland game.
Yeah, I've got two actually, and then Ryan, I'll let you get to the fact that we missed like 800 tackles in this game.
I almost forgot about that. Yeah, that was bad.
The offensive line, you're going to have to move Mandel inside. We're 9 games in at him at tackle at this point. You cannot afford to have guys coming unblocked. Like at this point, you need to make the call. If you think that guy is going to be left, you need to make people aware, hey, there's nobody covering this edge. Otherwise, like I know there's got to be something that they have in their communication that they have to be able to set up and say, hey, I've got somebody coming unblocked. Because there's no way that he should have been let loose. And Carter got flat out annihilated. And it happened more than once in this game. There were multiple times that he got fast pressure off that side because Mandel either whiffed or just had a guy unblocked. And I love him. I think he fits so much better at guard because he doesn't have to worry about the pass sets and stuff like that. And I just think that he's meant to be kind of a brute on the inside. My other guy that is underwhelming me, if he comes back next year, he probably has a chance to get himself in the 2 deep and be part of the actual edge situation. Tyrese Fearbury, pull your head out of your butt, because this is twice now this season you've had a 15-yard penalty for doing stupid extracurriculars on the field. And I'm really over it, especially in a game like this where you potentially could have gotten them jump-started by having a play like that. Knock it off.
Yeah, it's well said. That's discipline stuff that you just don't make those plays in moments like that. To me, it's a lot of the early tackling, a lot of getting outflanked by Altmaier. I thought there were moments, and Justin, you and I were talking about it in the Discord a little bit. Maybe you realize kind of early on, Illinois' primary offense is Altmaier running the ball, spy him a little bit more, be a little more gap sound.
You have the linebackers for it too.
We're nitpicking though. We're definitely.
Well, and think about it like this: why is their primary offense Altmaier running the ball? Because that's not an offense any offensive coordinator wants to run, right? They're doing that because that's all they can do, right? So that gives you a good run of what our defense.
Out of curiosity, do we have the rushing total for Illinois?
Illinois, I have the average 1.
It was like 57 at one point. Yeah, I was like in the fourth quarter late. It was 57. We had like 150.
I was going to say they were not effective in this game at all.
It was 1.7 yards per carry. Yeah,
and that was one of the things that Ryan, you and I kind of talked about. I don't believe it was on any shows, but I kind of said out there that I just didn't think they'd be able to run on us, and the key to the game was going to be Altmaier, which it was. And they did a heck of a job of just anytime they tried to run the football, it was basically like, nope, you're not doing this. They were in 3rd and long virtually every time they had the ball.
Yeah.
Altmaier finished with he might have been close to 300 yards passing too. I mean, it wasn't like he wasn't able to throw the ball. We still play off coverage and he could pick apart the zone, but it's just, I mean, being able to completely shut off the run on teams, I mean, is so fundamental because you make everybody one-dimensional.
Guys, they caught our aggression against us a couple of times. You could tell with the
well, that was the other thing. I mean, talk about out coaching. What did Signetti do last week? He just started calling screens and we got just caught out of position. I don't even think they called one screen. I don't remember it if they did.
They were kind of doing it in a roundabout way with some of the short stuff. Like he was just trying to flick it out there quick because he saw the pass rush coming heavy, and we were dropping into zone so hard. So they were basically getting a free 5 yards every time.
Well, and speaking of coaching, we got to talk about Jeff Grimes next. What did we like about what Jeff Grimes did today? Plus your comments next, responding to those on Locked On Badgers. We need to get to our friends of the show for one more quick break over at FanDuel. The NBA is back. I talk about it all the time. I love the NBA. Every day there is a bunch of action, a bunch of different games going on, and you can find, premium Western Conference, Eastern Conference matchups wherever you want. And with FanDuel, the live in-game betting is awesome. Whether it's a fourth quarter comeback, maybe a hot hand that you want to ride, you can combine all your live in-game bets into a same-game parlay for an even bigger payout. Plus, college basketball is going on. You still got some college football going on. If you were in on the Badgers today, congratulations. You made a bit of a haul. I wasn't. I should have been. And I would have done it on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, $5 bet. If you win it, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So head over to FanDuel.com. Sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Guys, let's talk about Grimes quick. And then I want to get into we got a ton of comments starred. I'd say there were a couple really nice plays from Grimes today. You just mentioned, Curtis, the lack of a screen game from Illinois. That really key first down from Tretch, that is that classic, we're going to run a drag underneath and have everybody kind of go out and block. That was the only read on that play. That was, let's put Carter Smith in a simple spot, simple read. hats off to Tretch. But that was a great play call. You see everyone downfield blocking. I thought for most of the night, I still don't love as much quarterback power as we run, but I understand that Grimes is handicapped a little bit there. I thought for most of the night, Grimes was really good today. And this was a guy I was hard on last week. Curtis, you and I talked about it. Justin, you and I talked about it. I thought for the most part, B+, A-. He was really good today, guys.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I know people will be like, they want him to open up in the passing game. Carter's just not there yet. Like from reading the defense at this point, there are plays to be made and he's not seeing them. And I'm fine with him checking down. Like the biggest thing that you want from your quarterback in those circumstances, if he's not seeing the field, is just dump it off and take the easy one. Then don't force something downfield and burn yourself. And Carter has kind of done that. Like when he isn't seeing something, or in the case of like this with the Tretch thing, I thought Tretch had a great game. Like he had a couple of really nice reverses, or like us running jet sweeps with him. They got him in space and used him effectively. And we kind of saw like that crosser where he picked up the first down on that is exactly what his skill set is. That's exactly what you want him doing, is running a drag, hopefully getting him on a linebacker or something, that there's not a prayer that they're going to be able to stay with him crossing the field.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say this about Tretch too. He's had some good games in the past, but objectively, I think this was by far his best game.
I think it was his best
because this was he ran with conviction. He ran with anger. He ran with energy. I half wanted him to get up and do a Hawaiian haka dance after he got that one first down. I'm like, man, bring that energy. We need all that. We need all that we can get. But about Grimes, what I was going to say about him is this to me was a masterclass in being handcuffed and still figuring out a way to make offense happen, right? That's the one thing that I took from this game, because this is not an offense that you can run successfully in college football and make it anywhere to a championship or a playoff or anything like that. But given the opponent, given the personnel we had, given the limitations, and understanding we have a freshman quarterback, let's give him a game plan that we can actually be effective with. Hats off to him. That was some incredible play calling, incredible play sequencing. Not everything was great. Carter's still learning how to look downfield past 10 yards. So it's one of those things where you're going to be limited on what you can do, but being able to still be limited, knowing that Illinois knows you can't do a lot, but still figure out ways to confuse their defense. That's just great coaching.
I want to make a point here, but before we jump on, how good of a season do you think that Mason would have had if we actually had competent quarterback play this year?
Lance Mason needs to catch the ball, though.
Yeah,
he does, but he's made a lot of really nice plays this season.
I'm a big Lance Mason guy, so I've actually been a little let down. Even on this play today, I thought he should have caught that ball. It wasn't an easy.
I agree with that one. I thought he should have caught that.
I was mad because the play like 3 plays earlier where Illinois caught that ball, and I'm thinking to myself, why does everybody catch the most ridiculous passes I've ever seen when they play us? Where it definitely touched the ground, definitely moved. I'm just gonna make that call.
Yeah.
But then 3 plays later, we get the same shot, and we dropped it. So, but no, Mason has been incredible the last few weeks. I think to your point, Ryan, I do think he probably would have had a much more prolific season, had it been a situation where everybody was healthy and not injured. But I think he'll get a shot to prove what he can do, maybe at the next level, this being his last year. So, I'm encouraged for him. I think he's done a great job, and hopefully he can continue to play on.
There's some physical tools there with him. I can see him getting drafted.
I agree. One more big picture question for you guys, and then we have 88 starred comments. We will do our best to get to a bunch of those. And Curtis, when we do these kind of quick comment things, we just each person gets like one comment and we roll through it. But big picture question: go back to where we were in the Iowa game as a fan base, as a team, where you were, Curtis, where you were, Justin, where I was. If I had told you that, hey, after that Iowa game, we're going to play Oregon tough, we're going to play Indiana pretty tough, we're going to beat Washington, we're going to beat Illinois by a lot, we're going to hang it to them, you would have said I'm crazy. What has been the single biggest reason for the turnaround? Like, what is the single biggest reason for this team's over the last 4 weeks suddenly playing a lot better?
I would say there it feels like there's less pressure. I don't know how else to describe it other than it just looks like this team is playing like free. I was talking to one of my good friends who, we always go back and forth to the Iowa games. He went to Iowa, I went to Wisconsin. And I was telling him, it feels like we have 5-6 psychos in the front seven, and then we just drop everybody in zone and we have no defense. We just let these psychos run crazy and see what happens, and we just kind of roll with it. That's what our defenses look like. And, it's one of those things where when you play like that, you got young energy. You got guys who maybe don't know any better, don't know that they should be nervous about playing Illinois. They don't care. They just come out there and they play their ass off. And you see our coaches, it's like they don't care anymore. They're just coaching their ass off. And so we could say that could have to do with the fact that, Mac came out and said, oh, your job is secure. We could say that. I'll say this. I think that Fickle probably knew that before Mac said that, right? So I don't know if something different's changed, but one of the things that I would say, like I said, is I think they're finally playing, with reckless abandon, with nothing to lose.
There's a lot of the comments coming up in here saying Posa and Catalano, and I actually agree with that. I think the level of freedom and looseness that those guys play, that could be too, getting rid of the vest. I think with how loose those two guys play and how instinctual, it was one of those things that it's just kind of infectious with the defense. Like once those guys started making plays, guys got loose. Like I think this team was playing really tense, and I think that those two guys just don't know any better and don't care. So they're just going out there and making plays, and that kind of allowed everyone else to relax. Because we've seen everyone kind of jumping up. Like we talked about in the preseason about Reiger, hey, he could be a 5-6 sack guy. Mm-hmm. Well, he's going to be part of multiple people that are going to potentially be in that. Now you have,
think about it, we had what, like 20, almost 20 sacks in the last 3 games. I guess 3 ranked teams straight.
Yeah. We're going to be a top 15-ish sack team by the end of the season, potentially.
Top 10 every
we're rapidly jumping up the list.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of what you guys said. So I would just add, you mentioned Cooper, you mentioned Posa, but I would throw Gideon Atuka in there. I'd throw Carter Smith in there. I would throw Eugene Hilton getting more reps. I think it's the young guys. And I can tell you from conversations I've had inside from people connected into that building, the team, the offensive line, they love Carter Smith. Now, he's not fully ready, obviously, but they love him as a competitor, right? Because he's going to go out there and he's going to put his shoulder into somebody and try to win a game for you. So I think it's all those young pieces. And then to Curtis, to your point, you kind of take some of the pressure off. That youth movement has been tremendous. All right, let's get some of your comments in here. Let's go first one. We'll just go around the horn here. Start with Curtis. Brett says, get the axe. How are you feeling about this Minnesota game, Curtis?
Pretty good. Did you watch what happened at the end of the game versus Northwestern?
I did.
Did you see what happened to them when they played Oregon?
I did. They scored a lot against Northwestern, though. They did put some points up.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I'll say. It's a game we gotta show up. They beat us bad last year. And that was unacceptable. That was one of those losses that you look back on and it's like that can't happen. Right.
I will say this. Northwestern does not have our pass rush. No. They're going to be in that backfield. Drake Lindsey's going to be running for his life in that game.
And he can't run.
And they can't run the football. So this is we legitimately could be. I'm not going to say that I don't want to get cocky with it, but I think 10 points is about where they should be. If we play like we played tonight against them, they're going to really struggle to move the ball down the field against us, especially with a redshirt freshman quarterback. He ain't Altmaier. I can tell you that right now. He is not going to go back there and let her rip and find plays that Altmaier was doing tonight, because there were times where he made something out of nothing tonight. And that was like the offensive line was just flat out bad for him. And he's like finding this dump off throw and stuff like that. Like he had some high level stuff that he did that a lot of quarterbacks in college can't do, that Drake Lindsey's just not going to do.
No, he's going to run for his life. Justin, I'm going to give this one to you. I lost the comment. I saw it flash up at some point, but you've been one of the biggest Darian Dupree guys. What did you see from him tonight that was maybe different, or was it the same thing and he just finally broke?
He got blocking on a play. That's part of it. Mm-hmm. We've both known that when he can get loose in space, that he's really hard to deal with.
He's fast. He's quick.
He does have some decent vision. Like he did a great job stiff arming that guy that was coming in from the backside on him, and that sprung him. Like him being able to get a hand on that guy's head and taking him out of the play was what kept him from getting tripped up. And we've seen that with him from the get-go so often, where that last guy will trip him up, and it's like you finally were finding some green to do some things, and then you stumble. Well, this time he didn't stumble, and he finally got loose.
I was happy for him. I'll take.
I wanted to make one comment on Dupree. The fumble that he had, him recovering it. I mean, the fumble is obviously bad, but his recovery was a hell of a play.
That's why I call him Spider-Man. It was like he shot the little webbing out of his wrist and caught the ball back.
That was still, I mean, that happened in a moment where the game was still a game.
Yeah.
So if you had lost that fumble, there would be a lot of frustration. He got it back. It is what it is. I'll take this one here from Joe. Rushing the field for this question mark. Nope. I'm just going to tell you, Joe, I'm almost pro rush the field whenever you
like. Let the fans be happy. I don't care.
I get it if you don't like it. I get it if you don't like it. I 100%. But I would tell you this: if you don't like it, just sit in the stands and watch other people rush the field, because it is a lot of. I'm telling you, this team has needed cathartic moments this year.
Yep.
And
that's exactly it.
And
you're getting the bad out. Everyone's happy that's out on that field.
Night game. By the way, I was talking to Mike before the show, and everyone thanked Mike. By the way, Mike behind the mic again, keeping all these comments coming and organized. I was telling Mike, I'm almost to the point where I say rush the field after every friggin' win. I don't care. Have fun.
We're not Clemson, all right? Let's not go that far.
That's almost where I'm at. All right, let's get to the next one here for Curtis, and we'll start to wrap up here. We talked about bowl contention. Here's one, Curtis, from Robert Nickel. Would we smoke Maryland and beat Michigan with how we're playing right now?
Well, we would definitely. I think if we played right now, Maryland, where they're at and where we are, I think we'd beat them. I think there's a lot to be said about momentum in a season. I mean, think about what Illinois did to USC 6 weeks ago, right? It's just one of those things where like seasons go in ebbs and flows. Iowa almost lost today to Michigan State. Doesn't have a win in conference. If we played Iowa again, I think we'd have a much better shot at beating them. Right. So it's just one of those things where it's like sometimes it's when you catch people. And talking about the cathartic thing, I mean, look at the Fickle tenure. Ever since, and I said this, I think the first week we played Buffalo and we dropped that pass by Skylar Bell that would have been a touchdown. Like since then, it just has not gone right once. Right. And finally, you're seeing things going right. And like once we broke that run with Dupree, in my mind, I'm like, we're going to win this game because they finally broke the spell. You know, it's like they finally broke it. Like they can now play knowing that they have this going, and now you're starting to see that team look like the Cincinnati teams Fickle coached, right? And so that's for me what I look at when I see that.
Justin, Dom S, are you confident in saying Carter is your future? Period.
We need to see more growth from him. Like I'm fine with him being allowed to compete for the starting position, but you need to get somebody that's going to push him in the spring. So you're going to go to the portal and you're going to get somebody that you're going to pay a lot of money to. The beauty of there only being one window now is if you go get that person, that other person's going to be here regardless. They may not like it, but if Carter goes out there and wins the job, which dude, he's got the kind of moxie that if you give him a chance, it may not always look pretty, but he's going to get some things done. I love him competing against somebody else that potentially brings that fire because I think they'll both be better for it. But no, you cannot, where he's at right now, you cannot go into next season with this. This winning the way they're winning right now is such a grind on a team that it would start to probably break them down by about mid-season if this is how they were doing it. You can't continue to do this in perpetuity. Because it's such brutal football to play. Like you have to play everything perfectly to play with this little room for error.
Yeah, I mean, we threw for 75 yards and we won, but that's not a consistent recipe.
Somehow Iowa has a worse passing offense than we do, by the way.
It's very Iowa-ish.
How? I don't know. I have no idea. It was a stat last week. I have no idea.
I'll take this one from Ryan Bliss, strong first name. Hope Posa is okay. Need him next week. Carter Smith is leader on Wisconsin. Yeah. I don't know if we heard anything about Posa, right? He had an upper
body hand or shoulder. I think
it might be a shoulder.
Barton landed
fell on him. It didn't look like he took a lot of impact to the head. So I'm assuming it's a shoulder and maybe somebody landed on him. Hopefully it's not, because I also worry about the long-term effects of that if you get somebody that if he popped a shoulder or something.
Yeah, I don't think he popped it. He might have smashed it, though, pretty good. So
we'll have to wait to see more, but definitely need him healthy. Some other comments in here. Let's see. Special teams gets a sticker. All right, we'll wrap it there. Again, I'm missing some comments, but guys, we do want to wrap. We are at 39 minutes anyway, so we always end with kind of just big picture final thoughts. Justin, start with you. Anything that we didn't hit? What's your big picture final thoughts with this game?
Yeah, this has been this in the Washington game. I mean, this kind of proves that wasn't like a fluke. This gave you another chance where you got to see, and we've continued to see it over the last 3 weeks, the defense be really, really good. And what that does is it gives you something to kind of gain some confidence with this team. And that's all what this really needs to get this program moving right in the right direction again. Is you need to get that positive momentum going and have people feel like you're headed in the right direction. And that will give you something to build on, which is why you hopefully can find a way to get the axe back. It will send everybody into the offseason feeling good. And maybe we even potentially get the opportunity to get a bowl game on the academic side of it, which for this team I think would be great. They've had a rough couple of years. I think they could really use that game to feel better about themselves.
Curtis, man, big picture last thoughts. Badger Boardmouth says beating Burt and Fleck back-to-back at the end of the season would be great. Oh, yeah, I'll say this really quick, and then Curtis, I want to hit you for any final thoughts. I couldn't, as bad as the season has been, and it ultimately at best it's still going to be a 5-7 year, barring some type of bowl stuff. That's still not a very good year. As bad as the season has been, if you can finish it off with back-to-back wins against Bielema and Fleck, that is about as great as you could end it off. Curtis, last thoughts, big picture.
I mean, that's a big one. You know, I started the show by saying, you know, hey, people have been calling for Fickell's job all year, and you know what? That's not unfair to do. But what I was going to say is this: the alternatives. What do they look like? This is what it looks like when we don't play in the Big Ten West, right? This is all we're seeing, and our entire team is injured. So we're playing against top tier teams, and our whole team is injured. And we're playing our old Big Ten West teams, and you're seeing what this team is capable of, right? So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just excited that I think there's a lot of potential still for this team. There's a lot of meat left on the bone. And I think there's an element of, I think Fickell's getting his groove back. I think for a while he was doubting himself, right? And I think the players were doubting because the coaches were doubting. Well, now I think you're starting to see some of that energy come back. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, everything is all sunshine and rainbows. We're all happy. Now we got the best coach in the country. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that I think you're starting to see a much more positive energy, a much greater confidence in this team. And I think that can carry over into Minnesota and into next year.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. I would just finish off by first of all saying thank you to everybody watching the show. We were up to 770, I think at one point. We got 685 now. That's incredible. Thank you like so much for being part of this. Y'all are amazing. The whole point of the show and having people like Justin Curtis on has always been, let's make it more enjoyable to be a Badger fan. And it's been kind of hard to do that last couple of years, right? So I think my big picture is just thank you. Thank you for everyone that has stuck with this, that has been on these shows, that has continued to contribute in a positive way to this community. And most people are that. So, and these two gentlemen here are among those people who are doing incredible things. Both Curtis and Justin are awesome people. And I'm grateful to get to talk to them and all of you. And thank you for tuning in and being part of this. And this feels like the start of potentially something better. It feels like this is a bit of a watershed moment at some point in the season where this could go in a different direction. And I think for a while, we were looking for what that could look like. I think this is it. I think to Curtis's point, you get healthy in the offseason. This is what this team could be. So just very grateful, guys. Go check out Justin on the Bucket Report. Obviously, with our good friend Rajiv. Zach Bartz is in the comments. Zach's a great dude. Again, just the amount of great people involved in this community. It's absolutely amazing. Zach's been at games Zach was at the Maryland game with Curtis and myself, so that was awesome.
Yeah,
rumor has it he's backing on Grimes.
Unbelievable. But on Wisconsin, Badgers win. Beat Burt. Let's go get the axe. A ton of content coming up this week. We got, I think, Nick Osen on Monday. We have a couple other really good guests coming up this week, so it's going to be a ton of fun as always. On Wisconsin, guys, and we'll talk to you later.
On Wisconsin.